Hello everyone, it's Simmons here. Welcome to a brand new video, and this video might be my most impromptu, weird choice of a video ever because of the news that just came out. But before jumping into the video, as always, don't forget to leave a like to this video if you enjoy this kind of content, and also subscribe down below while you're down there because it really helps me out. But let's address the elephant in the room. EA has been sold. And I know a lot of people are wondering what this means and what the results of this transaction will be. But let's start from the beginning. So EA was in the realm of being sold, or at least looking for someone to acquire it, for a while now. I believe back, I think it was 2021, 2022, there were rumors that maybe EA was going to be bought by Disney because of their already established relationship with the Star Wars franchise, because all of the Star Wars video games are created by EA. And as well, since we are talking about Sims, the Sims 4 Journey to Part 2 is an expansion pack all about Star Wars that was created for The Sims 4. But officially, as of like a day ago, EA has been sold for $55 billion. And people are a little worried. And I'm also a little worried, and hopefully I can make sense about this. I literally have no script, nothing for this video, just wanted to record it. But the announcement came out a couple days ago, $55 billion by three main partners, I believe. And EA is now going to be fully private. I believe this officially will go into effect in 2027. So there are almost 2 years fully before this happens, but it is official, so this transaction is going to happen regardless. The three main partners that are involved in these acquisitions are the things that are concerning people the most. Because these three partners are the PIF, which is the Public Investment Funds from the Prince of Saudi Arabia, Silver Lake Holding, and Affinity Partners by the Kushners. People are worried because of mainly two of these people. We are going to talk about the PIF, so the fund of Saudi Arabia, and why they probably decided to buy the Electronic Arts company, and obviously the Kushners. So if you don't know about American politics, let's start with the Kushners. As of right now, the president of the United States is Donald Trump, and his daughter Ivanka Trump is married to one of the two Kushner brothers. So the Jared Kushner's affinity partner are one of the people that decided to buy this company. And obviously, if you know kind of the politics that, are running right now in the United States, you might be a little worried now about what the future of this gaming company is going to be. Obviously, people are worried because two of the main investors, I honestly have not heard anything about Silver Lake Holdings. I have no idea if what's their affiliation, but I can gather that the Kushners and the Prince of Saudi Arabia are going to have very specific mindset in how the company will be managed. So people are worried that this acquisition might change, especially when we're talking about The Sims 4, the way The Sims 4 is handling representation of LGBT communities and race and gender expression and anything else related to representation of minorities. And we can also look at the Prince of Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia right now, it is illegal to be gay or transgender. So, and I'm not saying just illegal as in you shouldn't do it, but you are going to be killed if you are. And also, you would have to take into consideration the history of Saudi Arabia and how it exploits workers from poor countries, especially Africa, as very, very underpaid labor, which is very close to what is honestly slavery, to build their giant skyscrapers and their big giant roads with their thousands and thousands of billions of dollars that they make with oil. So obviously, when you're looking from the outside and you see the country that is using slave workers and doesn't like the LGBT community and actually kills gay people and trans people and queer people, and on the other hand you have basically the right side of Donald Trump, who is also bringing forth a lot of racism and homophobia in the United States and is installing a lot of harmful rhetorics against minorities. you might be starting to worry about the future of The Sims 4. I think another huge issue that I've not seen as many people talk about is the fact that with this transaction, EA de facto is in debt by $20 billion. So that's a huge debt for EA that they have to kind of manage before the acquisition is complete. So they kind of have 2 years to find a way to pay the 20 billions. And again, I'm saying billions with a B, not millions with an M, so that we're talking about a huge amount of money. And what obviously a huge amount of money needed entails is, on one hand, poorer quality products and a lot more microtransactions, a lot more packs for The Sims 4, a lot more ways to get money. And on the other hand, obviously a lot of layoffs for workers. And actually, I believe there's already talks in around the internet that EA is going to lay off a bunch of people and also going to start using a lot more AI tools to help with the lack of workers. Which, if you know me, you know I really don't like generative AI, especially because of the way that it takes from artists without credit, and it also is harmful for the environment because of the water usage and the fact that there's also a certain component of environmental racism with giant factories that pollute huge neighborhoods of poor people and especially black communities in the United States. They pollute the water, they pollute the air, and that's also a huge concern. So obviously, a huge company like EA amplifying the use of AI would be also an environmental issue. As of right now, we really can't say what's going to happen exactly to The Sims 4. Do I believe that we are not going to see any representation anymore in The Sims 4 and they are going to strip what is already in the game? I don't think this will happen. The reason is The Sims 4 is well known and is famous and is established because of these characteristics. So I wouldn't see them rolling back on what's already in game. I don't really see them adding new things as often or as willingly. I might be completely wrong because they could still give Maxes the ability to choose and pick what to add in the game. What I will say though, that is like almost certain, is that we're going to see a lot more packs, and honestly I'm not surprised if we're going to see some kind of microtransactions come to The Sims 4 just because of that debt that I was talking about before. Another worry that I have that is still related to The Sims space is the idea that they might not release Project Renee anymore. Because of the debt, you might also need to roll back on future projects such as Project Renee, or maybe even the other untitled Sims projects that they're working on because of the budget cuts. And especially if they're going to lay off a bunch of workers, which seems like something that they might do, that also implies that you have to roll back on the amount of content that you're going to release for future games. Obviously, it's going to be easier for them to roll out Sims 4 packs because they already have the foundation of the game that exists. Now, the reason behind this acquisition, obviously, as he said, EA wanted to be acquired for a while now. They've been looking and there were rumors of purchasing in the past. But specifically, why would the public investment funds of Saudi Arabia be interested in a gaming company from the United States? And the first thing that I thought is the fact that EA makes a lot of sports games, such as FIFA. I don't know if you are at all dabbling into soccer or football, whatever you want to call it. Lately, a lot of interest has been rising from Saudi Arabia and the Arabian Peninsula's countries about football and wanting to host football events and wanting to purchase new players for their teams and hosting different teams into their countries even when they're not really like an event. Like, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, last World Cup for football was hosted in Saudi Arabia, and I'm not sure if this is still happening. I know it was. Some Italian teams sometimes play in Saudi Arabia. So I would say that the main reason that the PIF especially wants to do this acquisition is to get hold of those games that are sports games, because they have this huge interest, growing interest in sports and soccer. I have no clue if this is a real interest in the sport or if it's just what the Sultan wants to, that he likes that, so they do soccer now. You know, that was also controversial when the World Cup was hosted. There they built giant stadiums that they don't really use as much, and they are giant structures that they built using worker laborers that are underpaid and basically slaves. So there's a lot of moral, ethical issues, obviously, with supporting a country like that. And with that, obviously, with the EA being bought by this PIF, there is a little ethical, moral conundrum. Are you going to continue supporting a game that is inside a company that is owned by someone that is going to use this money to hurt people? So obviously, I'm not here to tell you stop playing The Sims 4, start pirating. You do whatever you feel like it's right with your moral sense. I'm just going to say that personally, I fear that this is not really the path that I want this game to go down. And honestly, the whole company is one. EA has huge issues and huge problems, and it's not a good company. We know that, but this is pretty bad. And if you're interested why the Kushners are also buying EA, I believe that the Kushners Affinity partner company, which is one of the three that bought, EA and is going to own it by 2027, they are also sponsored by the PIF. So it's honestly, I feel like the decision was mostly to have an American company still own part of an American company, so that EA goes private, but it's not fully outside the United States like it would be if only the PIF would buy the whole company. So having Silver Lake, which I believe is also an American company, and the Kushners putting some money into that, even though it technically comes still from the PIF, does allow the company to stay within the American range and control. And I feel like that's also kind of what Donald Trump wants to do, and that's kind of the whole issues with TikTok that we're having, the fact that TikTok was almost banned in the United States. It was banned for a little while and then it wasn't, because it's not owned by an American company but by a Chinese company, and they don't want Chinese companies to own American products, and technically it's not an American product, but a lot of Americans are on it, so there's American information and they make money from it, and there's all of that. So they want it to be inside America thing. And I do believe actually the Kushners are also behind the probable purchase of TikTok in the future. So this really confirms to me that this is the reason why EA was bought also by this Affinity company and not just by the PIF completely. So, what does it mean for you who are the consumer? I would say if you are into The Sims, if you are into Mass Effect, if you are into any other EA game that has huge points for representation and the LGBT community and minorities, you might have to think about purchasing EA products here in the future. You might also think that maybe we're not going to see these kind of minority representation as much in the future. Obviously, we don't know this. I cannot say that this is certain. I believe it could be possible. I honestly have no clue. And if you own any EA game, Sims, FIFA, Skate, now it's coming out, all of these games, those are going to be, not aggressively, but definitely noticeably have more microtransaction and way to purchase and money to be asked from the consumers. That is going to happen 100% because of the huge debt. So if you don't like microtransaction, if you don't like to see the Sims 4 packs coming out one after the other, and you are one of the people that criticize the Sims 4 because of the huge amount of packs, I get it. not going to change. It's going to be worse. So, just get used to it, I guess, if you like The Sims 4. If you don't like it, I suggest you play another game. As of me personally, I am really thinking about this. I don't think I haven't really purchased Sims packs in a while, and I really don't I don't know if I want to do that. I still love the game. I still love The Sims 4, and I love playing it. I play it sometimes in my spare time. I really don't want to throw more money towards companies that, go against who I am as a person and my ideals and my morals. So, and also companies that are going to use artificial intelligence instead of, keeping their workers just to budget cut. It's really not something that I want to consider supporting. So it's all up in the air. Obviously, we will see how the situation evolves in the years, the couple years that we have. Obviously, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. What do you think of this situation? What do you think is going to happen? Let me know, because I love to have these awesome conversations with you guys in the comments. It's always so fun to have perspectives, different ideas and all of that, and have like a fun communication. So please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.